What's good, everybody? It's your girl AmandaSpeaks, and I'm coming back to you with another video. What's good, MANDYSQUAD? So first of all, if you're new to my video, if you're new to my channel, you have not heard about AmandaSpeaks, you haven't heard about MANDYSQUAD, I don't know where you've been at. I don't know what's happening in your life, but I'm happy that you made it to this channel. So if you're new, just click that subscribe button, click the bell button so you can be a part of this amazing family, and you won't miss any further notifications. Guys, do me a favor and hit that like button as well, because you know it does a lot for me and it doesn't take much for you to do. So hit that like button so that my videos can be spread and I can help and give the good advice that I have. Cool? So without further ado, let's get into this video. So today, guys, I want to talk to you on the topic of it's not the process, it's your posture. Process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. And the process prepares you for the assignment, for the opportunity, for the people that you need. But for the process to be effective, your posture has to be right. Now, lots of us will accept that definition, we accept the fact that we have to go through process. It's always step by step. We have to go through transitional periods in our life. But the thing about it, if our posture is not right, then the process kind of becomes futile, or we have to retake the test, and it just becomes frustrating after a while when we're not getting the results that we want. And the definition for posture is the position in which someone holds their body when standing or sitting. Also, it can be defined as a particular approach or attitude. And honestly, sometimes our attitude or posture is off, it's wrong, it's incorrect. Sometimes how we say things, how we approach things can be so toxic and so negative that even the process that we're supposed to be going through, it gets sabotaged by us. And we can't get to that end goal, we can't get to that finished product, we can't get to start the business, we can't get to collaborate with these people, we can't reach past a certain point because we're not getting and we're not taking the right posture. There is a seasonal end and there's an eternal end. Seasonal end, kind of self-explanatory. Seasons come, seasons go, and there will be people in your life, there will be situation in your life that ends at a certain time, and some of them will be prolonged, some of them will be lifetime. The eternal end basically heaven or hell. But what I really want to resonate with us is we have to be able to take the right posture in the process. So I want us to analyze and I want us to look into the facts. What are we doing? What is our posture like in the current situation that we're in? Whether it's relationship, friendship, business, what is our posture towards this process? Spiritual wise, emotional wise, what is our posture? Sometimes where we are kneeling and cowering and hiding, we're supposed to be standing. Sometimes where we are standing, we're supposed to be kneeling, we're supposed to be praying, we're supposed to be yielding, we're supposed to be asking for directions, for guidance, we're supposed to be looking for a mentor, we're supposed to be, learning from other people's perspective and their experiences. But we're out here trying to hustle it, or we're out here trying to find things on our own, we're out here trying to do things on our own without even acknowledging that maybe I'm not as experienced, maybe I'm not as knowledgeable in this area. And that requires us to analyze. It requires us to look into ourselves and ask ourselves, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing in this season? What is it that God would have me do? Why am I feeling so stressed out about this? And another thing, as it pertains to attitude, sometimes because of who is involved in our process, we can get so emotional, we can get so frustrated, we can get so tied up in our emotions, we can get so discouraged either because of comparison or because this is not the person you wanted and everything. And God is saying, listen, it doesn't matter the person, it doesn't matter the process, because the process is never the problem. How you go through things is never really the problem, it's what we do in the process. And as harsh as difficult and say, you can't say that because you don't know what kind of process I'm going through and you don't know how hard it is and blah blah blah. That's true. I may not know how hard it is because I'm not going through it, but that doesn't mean that I have not had my own hard struggles. That does not mean that I have not complained to God, I have not complained to others, I have not said, yo, I'm tired of this, man, I'll give up on it right now. But I want to draw our attention to our psalmist, David. One thing that I admired about David, and I still do admire about David, is as much as he was transparent with God, as much as he quarreled and said, God, you're not risking me, you're not help me, like, you don't hear me, like, hello, up there. At the end of his dialogue, put it that way, or at the end of his monologue, really, because sometimes God will not be talking back, but at the end of his monologue, he would say, regardless of what is happening, basically, I'll do two things. I'll praise you, I'll trust you, right? And a lot of times we get so frustrated in the process because of our posture that we forsake or we put off or we cancel out the next level in our life. And another thing that I have here is that your posture is very, very important, because sometimes your posture will determine whether or not you go to the next level, or you'll be in a cycle, or you'll miss the opportunity altogether. And that leads me to say that, are we being truthful to ourselves? Are we being transparent with ourselves, with how we're actually feeling with God, with our friends, with our family, with those that are above us? Are we being transparent? Are we being honest? Do we have accountability? A lot of people tend to run from accountability because they don't want to seem as though they're wrong. A lot of people run from accountability because they don't want to be actually kept in check. And if that's what you're doing, you're running away from the whole purpose of accountability. It's basically to do the things that you said you wanted to do, to be the person you said you wanted to be, to change the things you wanted to change, to hold fast to the things you wanted to hold fast to be firm on the things you wanted to be firm on. That's what accountability does. It ensures that you have somebody that's constantly looking out for you regardless, and will hold you to what you said and hold you to your word, right? And a lot of people run away from accountability because another reason, they don't like vulnerability, they don't like transparency. Because if I said it was really going on and I decide not to change, I decide to stay here, you're going to tell me that, remember that you said you wanted to do this, and you're going to remind me of the reason why I said that. And some people, they get so caught up in the process, they get so caught up in the frustration that they forget what their real goal is. They forget their why, they forget why they're doing all of this. They forget that this is not the end. As much as things are bad right now, as much as, you know, things are happening and people stress out, they don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, students going back to school, they don't know how they're going to cope, XYZ. Some people just want to get out of them yard. As much as things are right now, there is an after this. There is life after this. It's not the end, right? And a lot of people tend to forget that. Now, as I mentioned accountability and I mentioned friends and family, I do want to ask you this question. I want us to think very carefully. Who are we allowing to influence our posture? Because who we allow to influence can either make or break us. Sorry to say. And we can look at another Bible character, which is Job. I mean, we can use Job for so many things, but for right now, I want to focus on the part where his friends said to him, "Nah man, I must something you do. Jamaican, I must something you do. What you do? Make you lose everything, so what you do? I must something you do." And the truth is, Job did nothing. Job was as faithful as he could be. He trusted God with everything and anything. He prayed for his family, prayed for his children that didn't even come to God. He was basically, I guess you'd say, a righteous man or a faithful man and stuff. And the process that Job had to go through was not anything simple. It was heart-wrenching. It was honestly horrible. But even in that process, even when Job was like, "No man," even his wife was basically saying, "I better you curse the day man and did." Right? I better you just cuss off God and done. And Job was like, I mean, it got to him because he's human. And I think a lot of the time we hold these biblical people so high that we forget that they're human as well, and they have and had feelings. And sometimes that's how we are. We get so frustrated. We listen to the people around us. Sometimes they're not even saying very good things. They're not even encouraging us. They're not trying to let us see from a different perspective. They're so focused on what is happening outside. Sometimes because everything's happening on the outside. You're like, God, me I lose everything, like God, me not understand. I've been doing all of this, da 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 da. What? And God is like, yeah, that's happening, but your spiritual life has never been better. You have started praying to me so much more. You started talking to me so much more. You've been trusting me so much more. It's not that God wants to take away everything from you, you know. It's not that God wants you to suffer. Because look at what happened to Job after. After he went through his process and his posture remained steadfast to God, his posture remained obedient to God and trusting God and everything. He got double portion running over everything. Like he got double what he had. And sometimes we can, I keep forgetting the word and it's like right in my head. It's not forsake. Anyway, sometimes we can prolong our process. Sometimes we can basically cancel out our elevation because of our posture. And sometimes we just don't know what's around the corner. And because we don't know what's around the corner, we feel as though this is it and I have to do something now and this is frustrating and we kill up yourself. And we just don't realize that it's our posture that really matters. It's how we're approaching the thing, approaching the people in our lives. It's how our attitude is towards the work that we do. Sometimes, especially in the workplace, sometimes you have to be at that low job first before you can reach the high job. Because you also have to understand, premature elevation can feel like a curse if you weren't ready for it. Premature elevation can feel like a curse if you weren't ready for it. So when God actually blesses you, but you didn't take the time to actually really yield to his preparation, yield to the process that he was calling you to, you're not ready for the elevation that he gave you. Pruning is cutting away, reducing the extent of something by removing superfluous or unwanted parts. God is trying to remove some things off of you, from you, that can prove detrimental or destructive to your next season. And if you don't yield, if you don't understand what season you're in, what process you're in, and what your posture should be, then the next season can seem so frustrating, so miserable, because you didn't take the time to understand what was happening in this season. Don't idolize the level you're on, understand it. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in the process, and sometimes some good things can happen in the process, you know. Don't think that is all bad things and blah blah. Some things can happen in the process to prepare you, right? You can have some people enter your life and you can get some opportunities that are really, really good in the process. But then we can get so fascinated with the process and with the opportunities and the people that are entering our lives that we tend to idolize it and we don't want to move from it. When it was only when it was meant to be a seasonal preparation, we prolong it for a lifetime.